Today, I'll show you how to draw your own Stickman graphics in PowerPoint, even if you are a beginner in PowerPoint and cannot draw to save your life. Once you know how to create your own Stickman graphics, then you can create beautiful explainer videos like this, or YouTube videos like this, or use the skill to explain any idea or concept. In short, you can become a superstar video creator for your business. So without wasting much time, let us jump right in and learn how to create your own Stickman graphics from scratch. Before that, I am Ramgopal from presentationprocess.com. We help professionals like you create engaging presentations. The first thing you need to create a Stickman graphic is to go to AutoShapes Gallery and pick up a circle to represent the head of the Stickman. So see, this is the head of the Stickman. You can have it in any size you want. I prefer to have it filled with white and use black color as the outline and use a weight of 2 1/4 points. Next thing you do is to go to AutoShapes Gallery and pick up an isosceles triangle like this to make the body of the Stickman. Now, this doesn't look very much like the body of a Stickman, right? Wait, I'm going to right click, go to edit points and click on this black square, right click and say smooth point, and you make everything smooth point. And when you do that, you can see that it already looks very organic. And if you don't want your Stickman to have a flat base like this, of course, you can have it in any shape or form like the way you want. Now that looks good. Now this looks a little fat, so I'm going to make this slightly thinner, and I'm going to take the format of this by going to Format Painter and click on this. Now I have the body of the Stickman. The next thing we need to do is to draw the legs. Again, very simple. Go to Shapes. From Lines, pick up this one called as the Curve tool. Just observe how easy and simple I make it. You click somewhere around the hip, then click somewhere for the knee, and then click somewhere for the ankle, and then draw the foot and close the foot by double clicking, and your foot is done. You can adjust the angle by working with the shape like this. Now we have one leg ready. Now, once again, I'm going to make this into black and 2 1/4 points for consistency. And I'm going to duplicate this leg by pressing Ctrl D and then flip horizontally and then move it to this side, and I have got my other leg done. Now, if you think the leg is too long, you can always select both of them, press Ctrl G to group it, and then make it shorter. So that is the beauty of working with PowerPoint. Now, you want to draw hands. How do we do that? Once again, very simple. Pick up the same curve tool and then start with the shoulder, and then somewhere here for the elbow, and then somewhere here for the wrist, and then you finish your hand by double clicking. Done. One hand is done. Once again, let us do the same thing as we did for this. Select this, go to Format Painter, and then make sure that this also has the same consistency. You want it longer? Do that. You want it narrower? Do that. You can do anything you want, and you can see that it is beautifully placed. And if you want to rotate the hand a little bit, you can do so. If you want to draw the second hand, press Ctrl D to create a duplicate and then flip horizontally, and you can make the person stand with arms akimbo like this. Now this is a basic Stickman graphic. You can have it the way it is, or if you want to be a little fancy, you can add some hair. So how do we add hair? So let us go to Shapes once again, and I'm going to use this tool here called Freeform Scribble, and then draw some wavy form like this. Now this is going to be the hair. And once again, as I did earlier, I'm going to increase the thickness to 2 1/4 points, and I'm going to stick the hair here. Now this is a little too long, so I'm going to keep it somewhere like this and then reduce the width. So I have got one strand of hair. I'm going to hold the Control button down to make a duplicate, and then I have another strand of hair, and I'm going to make a duplicate of this and then rotate it a little bit more and place it over here. Now I've got another strand of hair. So we have got 3 strands of hair on one side. Press Ctrl G to group all of them, press Ctrl D to create a duplicate, and then flip horizontally and place this on the other side. Now we have this Stickman looking with hair frazzled, maybe slightly an older Stickman. Now, if you want the Stickman to be younger, all it requires is to add another few strands of hair. Let us select this, press Ctrl D to create a duplicate, and then rotate it a little bit like this, and then I'm going to place it over here. And then make a duplicate of this by pressing Ctrl D, slightly rotate this, and then place it over here. and this stickman has a lot of hair. Now, you don't like any of this hair and you want it to be a little bit fancy, you can delete all of this. Go to Insert, go to Pictures, go to Stock Images. I am having Office 365, so I have the option to use this called Cartoon People, and I can use heads. And when I go to heads, I can see that there are a whole bunch of heads that I have. So instead of the normal stickman circle, I can use one of the stickman options like this or this. It is completely up to me. Let us select this and press Insert. Now I'm going to have this one removed and I will have this person come in and slightly increase the size like so. Now I have a stickman with a proper head. Now let us delete this. Let us go back to our own stickman with a circle, because this is something which is very classic and I really want it this way. By the way, this is entirely my own design, so please don't copy this. You can always get inspiration from this and make your own graphics, but then this is something that I created because I have a whole series of graphics which are all on this style. Anyway, let us continue. Now, if you want your stickman to express some emotions, you can always do so by going to Insert, Pictures and Stock Images. And just as I did the last time, I'm going to go to Cartoon People. This time I'm going to use Faces. And here I have a whole range of emotions that are shown. I can use any of the emotions. For example, if I want this person to be a bit flabbergasted, I can go here and say Insert. Now I have that expression shown here. I can increase the size slightly so that it corresponds with the size of the head here, and I can place it over here. Now my stickman has emotion. Can you see? You can do a lot when you're working inside PowerPoint, and there is a lot of creative freedom you have when you create your own stickman. I don't normally use any of these. I keep my stickman pretty plain. And by any chance you want it to look a little bit more professional and you want to use it for your business purpose, you can have the stickman wear a tie. And it is a very simple thing. You can go to Shapes, once again pick up the same curve tool and then draw a rough tie like this. Can you see here? It doesn't really have to be accurate. I'm just making some shape like this, and this I'm going to fill with a pattern. So let us go to Format Shape and go to Pattern Fill, and I'm going to use this one called as Diagonal Stripes. So it looks like a striped tie. I can go to foreground and use the red color. So it looks really nice. You can of course have any kind of pattern. You can have this pattern, this pattern. It's completely up to you. Let us stick to this pattern. Go to Shape Outline and have the weight to be maybe somewhere around 0.5 point so it doesn't really show. And then I just need to add another shape, maybe something like this isosceles triangle, and then have this upside down and maybe reduce the size a little bit, and then I can place it over here. So this can be my tie, and maybe this can have the same red color and no outline. Select everything, press Ctrl G to group it, and then I'm going to reduce the size a little bit and place it over here. Now I have a gentleman stickman graphic. Now instead of this man standing as if he is going to pick a fight with you, you can have this one selected and then have it flipped vertically and then place it over here, and this guy suddenly becomes friendly and says hi. Now to write some text, all you need to do is to pick up the text box and write the text like say hi, and use the font that I talked about, which is Mansalva, which is a freely available Google font. And here now you have a beautiful slide with an expressive stickman. Now let us say I want the stickman to hold a poster for me. All I need to do is to select everything, press Ctrl G to group it, and then reduce the size slightly so I have a little bit of space. And then I am going to ungroup this and then have this one also flipped vertically, and this guy is now going to hold a banner. For that I'm going to use a simple rectangle tool and draw like this, right click, send it to back, and have this in white color just to go with the theme and have the same weight as 2 1/4 point. But this time I'm going to make one more adjustment, and here in line I have this option here called sketched style. Let me choose that and use this, and you can see suddenly this looks a lot more like a hand-drawn banner. Now I can write whatever that I want right here. Can you see, all of a sudden this stickman graphic now is able to express far more than just standing still. Now let us make the stickman sit. For that all I need to do is to select the upper portion, press Ctrl C, Ctrl V to create a copy. I'm going to make him sit here. And then I'm going to make him sit with his legs crossed. So let us go to shapes, pick up this curve tool, and let us maybe draw a leg like this. Can you see I'm doing exactly the same thing? I just have a knee, an ankle, and then a foot. That's it. And let us have another one, pick up this, and then this time maybe this guy is having his leg like this. Now, can you see we have got him sitting in a crossed leg position? Let me use the same format of two 1x4 points. Now that looks interesting. I can change the position. Everything is completely up to me. And if I want this guy to have maybe his hand resting on his knees, I can do that by going here. And then let us have, see, this is where the elbow is and it is resting here. And then hand complete, and let us have the same thickness. Beautiful. Now he is sitting like a boss. Now I want him to sit. So how do I do that? It's very simple. I can make him sit on some kind of a bench like this. It's not going to be a very big deal. I can right click and send this to back and then have another copy of this by pressing Ctrl D and then rotate it right and then have it slightly short like this. Or maybe you can have a bench by having something like this. And you see this person is now sitting on a bench. Now, if I don't want him sitting on a bench that I created, I can always bring in a picture of a chair. Let me insert a new slide and I'm going to bring in a chair. This is something that I got from pixabay.com, and let us see if this guy can actually sit here. So maybe I can make a copy of everything. We don't really have to have this chair, part of the chair here, and press Ctrl G to group it and press Ctrl C to copy it. And then let us bring him over here and let us make him sit on this. Now he is sitting on a chair like a boss. Now let us take this to the next level. Let us insert another slide. And this time let me go to insert pictures, go to stock images, and this time let us go to the same cartoon people. This time I'm going to add some kind of a scene. So let us go to scenes, and this guy is going to sit inside a room. Maybe I can select this and press insert. Can you see we have a beautiful scene of a home here? Let us go back and bring our guy. Let us select this, press Ctrl C, bring him down and Ctrl V. Now our guy is sitting stylishly on a sofa inside a house. Now let us go one level deeper and see how by changing a few things here and there in the Stickman, we can change the expression completely. Let us go back to the one that we created earlier. So this is the graphic that we created. So let us select this, press Ctrl C, so we always retain our original. Let us go to new slide and let us paste here. Now, instead of having the legs like this, if I want to have the legs crossing, so let us say right click, group, ungroup, and I'm going to have this one slightly at this angle and this one slightly at an angle like this. And you can see already this looks very casual, almost like a dance. And I can rotate the hands like this. Can you see this person is now dancing? It's that simple to make things happen. Now I drew this Stickman graphic. You can see that I have the head straight and the body straight and the hands are forward and backward, and it looks like a proper man walking. Now let us see what happens if I were to tilt the head to different directions. Now take a look at this. I have got my head tilting forward. Pretty much the same thing. Now this looks like the person has been pushed away from the house and is walking sadly. Can you see, just by tilting the angle of the head, we changed the expression. Now what happens if we tilt the head backwards? Can you see here? I have tilted the head backwards and this person is now talking on the phone and he is appearing very confident. Now, this stance of confidence can be made to look foolish by having something drawn in front. This is nothing but a simple ellipse, and this again is an ellipse with a pattern. Now, this looks like this guy is going to fall into a ditch. Now, talking about the angle of the head, now by moving your hands, you can have different expression. For example, this guy is still having his head tilted high, but then by moving his hand up, you can see that he is saying that I've got an idea. By placing it over his head and by adding these elements like some tears, you can see that this guy is now depressed by looking at something in the newspaper. And by tilting the head and the body and drawing the legs like this, I can make him look really old. And just by changing the shape of the body and by shortening the legs, almost indicating that this is a skirt, now I have made a stick man into a stick woman. Of course, adding some elements like this hair conveys the idea much faster. And you don't really have to be perfect in drawing this hair. You can have it something as rough and ready like this. It still communicates the idea. And here all I did is to add another skirt in a different color, and a stick man is now a stick woman. You can make any change to this basic graphic as long as you put a little bit of imagination. As you gain more and more experience in drawing this simple graphic, you'll really be able to get some amazing results. And once you do that, you would be able to communicate some very interesting concepts. For example, here there is a stickman who is running, which is nothing but the same stickman here with long leg and a short leg like this, and therefore communicates that he is running. And by adding a target graphic like this, I am showing that this person is running towards a target. And this of course is a simple line, and I can take it to the next level by making him sit, and this is a standard graphic that I got from pixabay.com. I then made a duplicate of this and gave it to the hand of this person, and here you can see that this guy is trying to hit the bullseye. And you can take the same graphic to the next level by giving him a bow and arrow, and you have a target here, and this is the next level graphic. See, all these concepts are communicated with this very simple basic graphic. And just by changing the angle of his legs and hand, you can see that I can make him jump over the hurdles. And these hurdles are nothing but graphics that I got from pixabay.com, and this is a line that I drew inside PowerPoint. And as he is jumping, I can tilt the angle of this entire graphic and make him jump over a barrier. And while I do this, I can make him jump from one situation to another. And then you can go to the next level by going to pixabay.com, and then you can find these kind of vector images. Can you see here? This is a vector image that I got from pixabay.com. Ungrouped the image. I replaced the image of the man with my stickman. Now my stickman is driving a boat. And now to communicate a different concept, I can use the same background graphic, remove that boat, add the image of a shark, and communicate the concept that there is this person who is really hanging on to his dear life and he is in danger. And coming back to this graphic of making the stickman sit, we can make him sit in different poses. For example, I can make him sit behind a desk, and here he is now thinking about Christmas and writing something. There is this other man, and here I have taken some hairstyle like this so we can clearly differentiate between this, and this person is sitting on a chair, and you know where I got this chair from. Again, pixabay.com or some other public domain vector image. And when it comes to adding chair for making this person sit, we already seen how to do this. You can draw your own chair like this, which doesn't really take any time at all. And you can make the person do things on the computer like this, or make him sit on a table or in a chair in a waiting room, or communicate an interesting concept like bomb under a chair. Everything is left up to your imagination. And the thing is, you can customize the graphic according to your specific industry. For example, if you want to create some graphics for healthcare, you can add some stethoscope like this and make a doctor out of the stickman. And you can add some patient like this, you can add a nurse like this, and you can make the female doctor stand and watch the patient like this. The person can be sitting in a wheelchair, or the person can be ready for a tooth extraction. With your imagination, you can make an angel out of a stickman or a devil out of a stickman. You can make the person beg for mercy or can bless you with his purity. You can make the person be full of love or can be hopping mad. You can make the person do self-reflection or can explore the world. You can make the person feel lazy like this on the bed or can make him cheerful like this. In fact, I made an entire presentation called Confessions of a Horrified Audience for SlideShare and participated in the world's best presentation contest and won the third prize. And probably it is because of the quality of the graphics that I created, and all these graphics were drawn by me, and you can see that these graphics add some humor to the message. So what do you do now? Very simple. I want you to watch this video again if it is required, so you can start practicing drawing these graphics. It can really give you a lot of freedom to express your ideas in the most engaging way possible. And in the meantime, if you have not watched this video called 6 Essential Steps to Amazing Stickman Animation Videos, I highly recommend that you watch that video next. It is a course in itself as mentioned in the comments for this video by one of our viewers, and it will help you pick up a very useful skill as a communicator. I'll see you inside that video next.